Good morning and welcome to another video with a guy and his projects. Today we are working on the F250 again. For those of you that have not been watching the playlist and videos, this is a 2001 V10 F250 4x4 and we've done a lot of work on it. I bought this 10 months ago, back in March of 2020 when COVID first became a thing. And over the last 10 months we've done a lot to get this thing. One, it looks a little bit better. We're still working on the looks. But two, we've gotten it to a much more reliable, upkept state. We've replaced the suspension, we've replaced the steering components, we've replaced some of the engine components, the AC, we've done a lot of stuff. I got a whole playlist dedicated on my channel. Check it out if you want to see anything. And now we're getting to the point where I'm just working on stuff that isn't quite as important. Stuff that, I like having things being not broken, so I'm fixing them as we go. But mechanically speaking, I'm very confident in this truck right now. I'm very happy with this truck right now, actually. So what we're doing today is I have a little issue with the oil pressure sensor, I think. Okay, I'm not a mechanic. It's important to know I'm not a mechanic. I'm not a professional. I have no professional experience, training, education, or anything on the vehicular level. I am just a dude that figures crap out by myself and does it by myself because one, I'm too broke to pay somebody else, and two, I enjoy it. So that's where I'm at. So the oil pressure sending unit, technically I could have a problem with the pump. I really don't think I do, the oil pump, because what's happening is when you turn the key on first thing in the morning, only some mornings, I only drive this on the weekends, and it's that first start after sitting all week where I'll start the truck and the oil pressure sensor light, or low oil pressure, or low whatever it is light, and the oil pressure gauge, the light will come on and the gauge will not move. And I'll stay that way, sometimes for a minute, sometimes for 5 seconds, sometimes for 5 minutes. Sometimes I can start driving, sometimes I can just hit the gas pedal, and it'll just randomly finally kick on, and then no more problems all day. So because it's only that one and that first start, I don't think it's the pump. Plus it doesn't sound, there's no screeching or scratching or clunking or bunking or whatever. There's no weird sounds. It sounds perfectly normal. So I'm thinking the oil pressure sensor is gummed up, blocked, leaking, whatever it is. For less than a Jackson, you can just replace it. So I'm going to replace it. I'm using a genuine Ford Motorcraft oil pressure sensor, and this should be a pretty easy, straightforward switch. So stay tuned, and we'll get it done. I think you only need 2 tools. I went ahead and I stuck a wrench on the one installed. It's a 21 millimeter. This Motorcraft one is, are you ready for this? 27 millimeter box wrench. I'm sure you could buy a special tool for it. I'm sure you could use a crescent wrench. We're going to use just an open-end box wrench. And for access, you can get it there a couple different ways. You can go in, I've got a lift, and with a lift it's probably easier, but you can remove the tire. You can go in through the wheel well, and it's straight there in front of you, right behind the steering gearbox. Or you can go in through the top without removing any tool or anything. You might remove the air box, just give yourself room. I might remove the airbags for you guys' visibility, but we're going to try and just change it with nothing. So I've talked longer than it will take to replace the part at this point, I think, so let's go. This right here is your oil pressure sensor, aka oil pressure sending unit. This is right underneath the headers on the driver's side. It's kind of hard to see. It's all that crumbly stuff right there where the wrench just hit. That's your cross member. So if you just look at the front edge of the cross member, you'll see it right there. I was having a difficult time getting camera and fingers to pop this connector loose, so I got a long screwdriver, a flathead, pushed down the whatchamacallit thingamajiggy and pulled out at the same time, and it worked fabulously after the first 5 tries. Sometimes you just got to be patient, but see, there it goes.
You can see all the oil underneath that it was dripping. Put your pan down here. Do not put it there. Put it in the center of the truck, as I learned momentarily. The oil will drip down that cross member and drip in the middle of your truck, not under the diff where you might think. After you bust this loose with a box wrench, you can pretty much get it off with your fingers if you're lucky. I was able to, as soon as I broke it loose with the wrench, just use my hands and unscrew it the rest of the way. So I don't know if you're looking at the same thing I'm seeing, but that oil was very, very thin, and I'm running 5W30. I was actually super nervous for a little bit, worried about a head gasket leak, maybe some water in the oil. I think there's just condensation because I'm not losing coolant, and the head gasket was replaced right before I bought it by some shop in Tucson, so I guess time will tell. This is your new sensor. Notice that orange thread lock on there, or thread sealant, whatever it is. And you're just going to put that right back in its place. I did lose about a cup or so of oil. Not much, not bad. Screw it in as far as you can with your hand, and then you're going to have to get your box wrench. And it is very limited space. I would highly recommend doing this from underneath the truck. Why I didn't, I'm not sure. It didn't even occur to me that I could reach from down below, but here you are looking at it from below, and there's so much more access, so much easier. So just get that tightened up, and then clean up all your mess, your oil and stuff, of course. Now you're just going to plug your connector back in, and it's really that easy, guys. So originally I started from going above, and you can do the whole job from above. I attempted to go through the wheel well, and it's fine if you remove this stupid cover for the gearbox, the steering box. But ultimately, the easiest way is to reach down here from below and go in above your pitman arm, and it's a direct shot right there. It was actually really easy this way. So I would recommend just starting that way. But anyway, now that we got this all good, I'm gonna start her up. Oh, and make sure that our light is not on. Okay, so keys in the ignition, on, start. And there we go. So now we just gotta go down and make sure it's not squirting fluid everywhere. Where's my light? I know you can't really see that well in this camera, but looking at that little white thing way down there, in person, it looks good. It's not squirting fluid or anything, so I think we're all right. And like I said, I can go downstairs. Not squirting. You'll see some oil here from when we spilled it. By the way, I put the catch can right underneath this diff, but the oil traveled down that cross member and dropped next to my oil pan. Just something to stick aware of. Oil pan might be better here. You're going to drain, I don't know, about a cup, maybe 2 cups worth of oil. It's not bad, but you still want to catch it. Anyway, looks good on my side. All right, guys, easy as that. It's not a big deal to change. This one, I'm guessing, was leaking through the threads. It was not very tight. I barely cracked it with the box wrench, and I was able to unscrew the rest of the way with my hand. And looking at the clean threads, so looking at the threads, you can see that the clean threads go up to the Loctite. In other words, the previous owner, these come with Loctite on them, screwed it to the Loctite, but not over the Loctite, which would mean that's why it would leak. The Loctite's there to help keep it from leaking. Maybe it's not Loctite, maybe that's the wrong word, maybe it's a thread sealant, whatever you want to call it. The previous person that worked on this truck did not get this screwed in all the way, therefore leaking all over the place, making a mess. You can see on the inside, it's just a one pole, let's see, maybe you can see, it's just a one pole wire, it's just a sensor, that's all it is. Dripping oil. So it's an easy job. I went through the top to start.
I didn't even think to look underneath. I just went straight to the top and started working from up there. And I couldn't get the new one tightened all the way. I'm guessing that's exactly what the previous person did. They went from the top and just started twisting it until they couldn't anymore, because the headers and everything, it just gets in the way of the box wrench. Then I went down underneath and I was able to screw it in all the rest of the way. So I would recommend going from underneath. Everything was easier. It'd be easier to do the electrical. It'd be easier to unscrew, rescrew, clean up. And you would see, so I had my my oil pan over underneath the diff, the pumpkin, and the oil hit the cross member and went to the center and dropped dead center of the truck. So keep that in mind too. If you're doing this from down there, you would have seen that and you wouldn't have a big mess to clean up like I did. Keep in mind, I'm not a mechanic, guys. I have no professional experience, so I'm learning as I go. I just enjoy doing this. So in the comments, when you comment and tell me how horrible of a mechanic I am, it's because I'm not a mechanic, okay? I'm here to help you out. I'm just a DIYer that's trying to save some money and enjoy working on my vehicles. So if you liked what you saw, leave me a thumbs up. If you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. And if you have something good to say, like easier access, different way of doing this, or questions, sit them down in the below. If they're mechanical questions, I probably won't know the answer, but you can ask and maybe somebody else will. So yeah. If you like what you saw, leave a thumbs up. If you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. I have a whole playlist on my channel dedicated to this truck. And there's quite a few videos on there actually, and there's going to be more. So yeah, check them out. We'll see you next time, guys. Thanks for watching.